council, the mayor, and then you go to commissioner.
Thank you. Thank you, I appreciate it.
I didn't take that with my place.
The higher you go, the less you can do.
Mark, you think they do? Yes. How's everything?
Right.
Good? Good, good.
Oh, yeah.
I was not smelling how to smoke.
Yeah.
I don't think it's fair.
Yeah.
Can you see me now? And can you hear me? But I
I
can't hear
can.
them.
You can't hear me?
I can hear you, but I can't hear them.
Yeah, they're still on mute.
Okay.
Can you see me?
I can see you too.
Oh, perfect. Okay. I had a quick meeting with Mark and Nick and they couldn't see me on Zoom for some reason. So I wanted to make sure you could.
Yeah, nope. You look fine.
Great.
A lot of traffic. Yeah, we got to do that. We've been sitting here and we haven't even 10 minutes on I-5. That's
Well, I mean, shit, it's probably on my back.
Oh, that's right.
You guys are lost, but we're not lost. We can go how we're going.
I can't do nothing with it. It's a place of frustration. She's getting all the heat.
Give you for 2 hours. She's not. Oh, yeah. I have.
That's some point in this case. Can't just.
We had a, one of the
Yeah, but the discussion for.
Technology, that's why we always keep this.
They finally got me to the point where I didn't even bring out briefcase because you have it.
Sorry for the.
All right. All right, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our December 19th, 2023 board meeting for Link Transit. And know that we've become accustomed to seeing our electronic devices for the agenda, and we're going old school. So that's why you have the paper in front of you. Quite frankly, I prefer it, but that's just me. So with that, I know we have a couple of board members that are going to be a little late, but they'll get caught up. I would, do we have a quorum? I guess let's
Yes,
that we need. Okay, perfect. And this would be the appropriate time for me to ask for a motion to approve the board agenda.
I had one point of clarification on the agenda that
Yes.
may necessitate a motion. Item number 10, the closed session indicates that an action will be taken. I don't believe that any action will be taken either during that closed session or after, so you may want to point that out in the text.
Okay, so no, is the board clear on that? There will be no action taken with respect to our closed session. So with that,
Mr. Chair, I'd make a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed or any abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. All right, moving on to item 2, board member declaration of conflicts. At the time in our meeting where if you believe that you might have a conflict with any of our action items as noted on today's agenda would be the appropriate time to announce that. Hearing and seeing none, we'll move on with just the reminder that as we do address action items, if you at that time believe that you might, you can always recuse yourself at that point in time. All right, the consent agenda, we will be dealing with our November 21, 2023 board meeting minutes, as well as our accounts payable and payroll vouchers. I would seek a motion to approve those as presented.
So moved.
Thank you. Second. It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you. Motion carries unanimously. All right, moving into our board administration and communications, our general board meeting, our general board member jurisdictional updates. Is there anybody that would wish to provide the board with any sort of update that's important to them or their jurisdiction? Now would be that time. Quiet group today. I'll take that as a no. All right. moving on to meeting time change, 2024 chair. So I want to say that I know that each of you have received an inquiry with respect to our meeting dates and times rolling into 2024. I don't know about you, but from my experience, this is a fairly common thing to discuss with the change of leadership. Everybody has different time constraints, different obligations and such. And so I know that with that, we had a request to take a look at those dates and times. I think I saw some feedback on that, but this is kind of the time that we can center around that discussion and come to a consensus moving forward. I just don't want folks to think that because we've had board meetings at 3 o'clock for a long period of time that it's set in stone and it's unmovable, because that's certainly not the case. So with that, I would open it up for discussion about concerns. Bob?
Well, I probably won't be here after this meeting, but if you're from Chelan, and I've been here a long time, if you have to drive back Chelan at 7:30 at night or 8 o'clock and it's snowing and it's raining and it's ugly, it's you either go Zoom it or you be very careful going home. So that extra 2 hours makes it much more difficult to drive.
Thank you, Bob. Anybody else that wish to speak to it?
I would just make a comment, when I first came on board, we met at 5 o'clock in the afternoon and it changed to 3. And like Bob, getting out of here that late during the winter months was not nice. So, I mean, I understand the reason for changes. We all have other commitments, so on and so forth, which necessitates us as a board looking at that reality. But I can understand the hesitation to do it, particularly during the winter.
Thank you, Joyce. And just as a side note, I know that we will have, 4 new board members as of January. So if the board feels that this is a discussion that's better had January at our January board meeting with all of the full contingency of board members present, we can certainly do that. I'm not suggesting that's what we do, but that's certainly an option. So is there anybody else that wishes to speak?
Mr. Chair, I think that your suggestion is a great one. And that we should consider this beginning in January when we have the full complement of new board members.
Thank you, Robert. Anybody else? Randy?
For not to be here till 7 or 7:30 at night as well. And also, I think it's somewhat unfair to staff. You know, normally you get up at 5 o'clock, to ask them to hang around for another 2.5 hours. Suddenly we pay overtime for that.
That is a conversation that Nick and I have had.
Exempt employees would not get it in the hourlies, we could have a comp time.
I do agree that it'd be nice if we could wait till next month to discuss with the full new board. There was only one option given, and I don't know if we could maybe discuss others, rather than just the one.
I mean, this is for the board to decide, so there's nothing from my perspective set in stone. You know, so it really comes down to what I didn't want to have is I didn't want this to be perceived as, you know, that it's unusual, an unusual conversation, because quite frankly, I don't think it is. Where I'm at is, you know, it has to be representative of the majority of the board, you know, not just a simple majority of the board, but my thought would be, you know, the super majority of the board, because, you know, it has to be comfortable for many people. Not everybody's going to land, but there's no perfect date. We know that there's no perfect time, but we have to do our level best to make accommodations to, you know, serve, our, you know, carry out our service on this board. So.
I'm exiting, so I don't have any real skin in this game. But if I were staying, I wouldn't be a big fan of the latter hours. And I do think it's worthy to consider, especially in light of 4 new members, to give them a chance to make sure it meets their schedule. Because You know, right now, they're not here. They don't really have much of a say.
Thank you, Clay. With that in mind, is there anybody that objects to that as being what we do, moving it forward to January's board discussion and making a decision at that point in time? Does anybody object to that? Okay, I'm seeing.
I do have a question though.
Yes, sir.
Ann had her hand up.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ann.
Oh, just a point of clarification. If we do move this conversation forward to January, Mark, would you mind being retained as chair until that conversation is closed in January?
I wouldn't, as long as the board doesn't kick my ass out the door.
You're chair until relieved.
No, I'm fine with that, Ann, as long as everybody else is. I'm actually doing that on another board that I sit on, so.
I was curious, is it just the particular Tuesday we have a meeting, or is it pretty much any work day? It doesn't work.
Yeah, let's just discuss it in January.
Okay.
So with that, thank you for that. We'll move on and just be ready with your thoughts come January. All right, CEO's report.
All right, Nick. Get up in front here, get up in face. First off, I want to wish all the board members everything happy holidays. We prepared your own cup so you don't lose it with your name on it, and some goodies in the tin that I think Randy, I'm sure if nobody wants them, you could stack them up to Randy's corner. He'd be happy to take them. I don't know if that's going to pass for a new Starbucks cup for you, but
It'll work.
we do have some guests also here. We have Lloyd Smith, the new mayor of Waterville, and he'll be stepping on our board list for a little while, right, Lloyd? Thank you. Yeah. We met here last week, and I think he's going to be a great new board member. I know Travis Formby's here. I think he introduced himself to everybody here, so welcome. We'll meet with him tomorrow. Renee's not here today. Renee's Sweringer, she's the new mayor of Antioch, which will be taking Clay's place. And Travis will be taking Mark's place, right? And then Aaron McCarville, Mayor Chelan, will be taking Bob's place. So we'll have those new four board members coming in. We do have some plaques to give out. Standard protocol, but we start with I was gonna say the oldest board member, but I remember them at the longest board member. Maybe a little of both, I don't know.
It sounds like
Either way you count it.
oldest and longest.
Yeah, so Bob Getty, 19 years on Lakes Board. I know it's been over a couple different stints, I believe, right?
Yep. I got reprieved a couple times.
But we made a nice plaque with the Leavenworth roundabout up there.
Thank you.
Bob, we appreciate your service. Gonna miss you, and we sure hope we see you around. And I'll be coming down when you're standing on the bridge waving people off the wrong way. I'll be down there going, no, they're going the right way. Joyce Huber. Joyce, 12 years. Wow, 12 years. It's been awesome, Joyce.
It's been a pleasure. It's been a real pleasure to be on this board.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate the staff.
Yeah.
And if I cry, I cry. That's just not me in my life anymore.
We're gonna miss
You know, so
so much.
if you ever get in an at-large position, let me know, okay? I'll be interested.
Here you go. On our way up here. Mark Kulas, I believe is the other one. And he voluntarily stepped down. He's like retiring. He says, I'm not gonna work anymore. But he's been on board for 10 years. So Mark, congratulations.
All right.
Yeah, thank you very much for all the, has it been 2 stints?
Yeah, that was 7 or 8 years early in my council career, and then stepped off to address the public facility district financing mess. And then came back on
That's
about
right.
4 years ago.
4 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, it's been a pleasure. You always give us some great advice, and we're gonna miss you.
Yeah, it's
Mr.
fun.
Travis will
The only thing I'd say is, y'all need to ride Lincolnville more often, because I don't think any of you do.
So I was gonna mention that to Bob when he says he doesn't like driving back to Chelan at night. I'm going, well, you're still heading that way on the bus.
So that hard, I'm not going at all.
So now I guess, do we wait till next month or no? Okay, so, oh, Clay. How could I forget Clay? Clay, it's been a year, but a great year. Got to know you. We appreciate your service, your support.
Thank you.
And I think, you're doing a great job for you.
Well, I appreciate you and, the staff has been just wonderful, kind of educating me and, you know, I had my ideas about things and some of my ideas have been swayed a bit, but it's an incredible organization. I think you guys are doing a great job.
Great, thank you. Mr. Straub gets one with the gavel for being our chair for this last year. It's been a great year. Thank you for all the support. Now, I got one other thing for Mark. So one thing I've known about Mark, of anything else, he's just really a nice guy, right? Wouldn't y'all agree? Just a nice guy. He's not gonna say no, he may think it, but he may not say it all the time. So we were in Orlando, I was telling him about something. And I said, my brother-in-law made these, well, here, it's a rock. Cool.
You made a rock.
Oh, a rock.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna have to read this to you.
I'm not good at Braille.
So my brother-in-law is an engineer and he says he's a self-proclaimed geek. And he says, this stone sculpture is one of a kind, it's original, okay? So most man-made items existing far into the future will be made out of stone. Patterns of this collection will be recognized as a manufactured artifacts after billions of years. So it's a subset of pi. So in the future, when some future race finds that at your house or where you used to live, they'll know there was intelligent human beings there living there.
I've got a theory about that.
Yeah. So I don't know if that was really your just being nice or not, but you got one, Mark. Not sure if it goes, I think it goes that way.
The good thing about it is nobody.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Thanks for saying that. Yeah, well, I got one too, so we can compare. And actually, I did look at them and they're different. I was telling Justin today, and they're different. And then he actually read this and goes, well, they're all actually one of a kind.
Is there any cuss words?
I'll get that one for you. Yeah.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure.
You're welcome. Okay, back to business here. A couple things on December 8th, which is next December 8th, September 28th, next Thursday, we will have a Zoom meeting with the Department of Revenue finally about our sales tax that was missed up toward Asterogo. And I think you've accepted that. I think it starts at 2:30. So anyway, we have a Zoom meeting and then with Aaron to kind of prep ourselves for it. And then we're going to have a Zoom meeting with the Department of Revenue for what I'm understanding, Aaron, is a settlement offer, or at least starting towards that process.
Yeah, they haven't given us a whole lot of information about what to expect. We've been trying to prep for that. And the communications that they've had with Selena seem to indicate they know they got to give us something. What that actually is still up in the air. So we'll be preparing for it, looking back to one, when they made the mistake, two, when a particular statute was adopted, which I think was in 2008, or kind of a more normal statute of limitations. Those are going to be the kind of discussions we're having about how long we look back to what's owed to.
I have a fair understanding when a private citizen doesn't pass their tax through, what happens to them. So I'll keep that in mind.
Get it forgiven?
No.
Yeah, well, also on December 28th, I believe, Justin, will be our exit audit.
I can't be the work for the audit.
Okay.
So I'm not with the company.
And this is just on the financials, right?
Just the
Accountability, okay. Which there's no issues, there's no findings, there's nothing that we would like to send out. I know the auditor should send out something to all of you we have more than 5 or 6, then we have to publicize it. If Mark would like to attend, or Kevin or somebody would like to attend via Zoom, we'll send you an invite. But I think it's gonna be a pretty quick 5-10 minute meeting. Boardings, April, let's see, no, I'm sorry. Okay, so fixed route boardings for these, this year, we're at 965,642. That was on December 14th. Christina and her group has predicted that we'll hit 1 million boardings in fixed route on December 28th. So we actually have a pool going. So we had our annual breakfast, which thanks Bob for joining up for us. It was our anniversary breakfast last Friday. Bob came down, had pancakes and eggs with us. And that was when all the employees could put actually the date that we actually get the minimum boarding. I think it was how many boardings we would have by the end of the year. Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. I think that's all I got, Mark. We do have some, we're gonna try to wrap this up around 4-ish. We have some catering coming in pretty soon. So some hors d'oeuvres and afterwards, like stick around and mingle a little bit. This is the last meeting of the year.
Any questions for Nick? Okay, thanks, Nick. We'll move on to action items. 6.1 RFQ 2023-06. Sam, and that's on page 40, I believe, of your pack, or 50, excuse me, 50 of your packet.
So feel free to stop me if you have any questions. I was just going to give you a quick overview. Our current contract for general A&E services expires at the end of this year. We put out an RFQ in October, and we have found RH2 to be the responsive and responsible proposer for this contract. I just wanted to pull one quote out real quick. So the evaluation team found that their SOQ, which is Statement of Qualifications, indicated a strong understanding of anticipating client needs, so our needs, mitigating problems, and interagency coordination and the legal use of public funds. So we're asking that you authorize Link Transit to enter into an agreement with RH2, the most qualified response to RFQ 2023-06 for architectural and engineering general services, which would be starting January 1st of 2024 through December 31st of 2026, with an option to extend for 2 years after, and that would extend it through December 31st of 2028.
Any questions for Sam? I would seek a motion for that. So moved.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing
Page
none.
40, not 50.
Well, page 40. I said it right the first time. Without any further discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or any abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Thank you, Sam.
Thank you.
Moving on to 6.2 bus garage. Task order to create bid-ready documents. Sam, you're up again.
Yeah, you can't get rid of me yet. So this is another portion of the original RFQ 2022-04, which was the overarching procurement for services to guide us to bid-ready documents for the facility redesign. So the portion that we have already signed a contract for was kind of the research and development side. And we're hoping to expedite just the bus garage portion with this agreement that's in the packet. Do we have any questions on some of the logistics of it or wording?
Any questions for Sam? You're smiling down there, Mayor.
Not for Sam, but you skipped the emergency management partnership, so that's why I was confused.
I know, I was gonna read.
Did I?
Certain, no, I did.
Oh.
Doesn't take much.
Oh,
No,
gotcha.
no.
Granny.
You missed one line. I'm
Gotcha.
lost.
It's 50 lashes with a wet noodle. We'll come back to that. Yeah.
No problem.
Any other questions for Sam? Is there a motion from the floor?
So we accept the bus garage task order to create the bid-ready documents.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. And any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor?
All right.
Aye. Any opposed, any abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Sam.
Thank you. Happy holidays.
You want to circle back, Nick?
Yeah. Well, I forgot one step. Sean is here to give us an update on our partnerships with the recommended.
Let me share this screen real quick.
So 2023 has been kind of a big year for us as far as emergency response goes. We've been involved in a total of 2 exercises. That's actually the first 2 I've been involved in with my 5 years here at Link Transit. So that was really good. We got some good information out of it. We played 2 roles when it came to these exercises. The first role, our primary role, was to get the green patients, which are the walking wounded, in a triage system or mass casualty incident system. They're the walking wounded, and maybe they have first aid issues, but relatively can take care of themselves and relatively walk around and be normal. Our job was to get them evacuated to, a designated site. Usually this is going to be a hospital. It could be a shelter, depending on what the EMTs decide to do. So that was our first objective in both of these. Our second objective was to bring the actors back, so bring back the patients. So in the Pangborn exercise, we actually ended up taking them to the crash site so they could get ready for the emergency responders to do their thing. And then in Wenatchee Valley College, we actually had set up a mini shuttle to pick them up from either the hospital or the clinic where they had been dropped off by ambulance and bring them back to Wenatchee Valley College for their vehicles and barbecue that we held after that. One major thing we learned during the Wenatchee Valley College active shooter drill is that we never got dispatched by Rivercom, which means we never technically arrived on scene. So it's good to find out now during an exercise instead of in the real world. They did, because of where they had a stage, actually pull us into the event anyways, and we got to participate and take those patients to the clinic. During the Pangborn airplane MCI drill, they decided during the active shooter drill that maybe an EMT should go with us just in case, they go to a different stage, maybe they drop to yellow or have some other issues. So this time we had an EMT with us. We dropped them off at the hospital. The EMT ended up catching a ride with an ambulance instead of back with us. So we actually ended up waiting around, right? Waiting for this until we actually had to go ask where they went. So once again, a lesson learned there is, in communication. And then we did actually get called to the scene of an incident this year as well. This was actually an apartment fire where we were a temporary shelter, some minor issues first in the beginning, but overall it turned out really well. We were able to keep the tenants out of the weather, as well as transport them to Columbia Station to use the facilities while the firefighters and law enforcement did their jobs. And then we are currently working on redoing the interlocal agreement with Confluence Health. Back in 2019, signed an interlocal for evacuation in case of, the need. That only includes Central Washington Hospital. Now we are including what they call the Mars building, the clinic, Wenatchee Valley Hospital. They choose the Mars campus now. So that's in the process. I actually just got an email back from them today. So that's moving forward, probably be presented to you guys here in the near future, Q1 or 2 of next year. And then this is the first year we actually were able to be involved in the Leavenworth Village of Lights, predominantly extended evacuation in case something were to occur. Initially we won't be able to get in there because of all traffic trying to come out and other things, but that extended attack where we may go assist getting those people from their shelters, wherever they may be out into the valley or elsewhere. So that's really it, a year in review. Any questions?
In the event of a real emergency, do we just pull buses off the routes to go take care of this or what?
So it's possible we could, yes. We changed, so in the run, how Rivercom dispatches, we were actually a special consideration to Rivercom. So they dispatch everybody and then be like, do you want Lincoln? Do you want Airleft Northwest or one of those? We got it changed to where now we, on the second alarm mass casualty incident, we actually get notified right away. So we can be ready to go with either a spare operator and bus, allow us to gather more information because, maybe a 30-foot bus won't fit. Maybe we need a cutaway, maybe we need 2 cutaways. So we made that change to expedite our response without necessarily affecting the routes.
Any other questions? Really insightful. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Thanks, Sean.
All right. I want to make sure that we're dedicating a fair amount of time to be able to have a good discussion around the evaluation of our CEO. Not to mention that we do have a closed session as well. So with that in mind, on our staff reports, would anybody be objectionable to, unless somebody wants to have a particular report pulled out and discussed, that we just trust that you've read through those and digested that information? Randy?
I have no problem, but you skip 6.2.
Yeah.
You're reading the script, Randy. Wake up. You were still stuck on the emergency management order.
You need a reset.
Anybody, in all seriousness, does anybody want to pull any particular report out and discuss? Okay. Then with that, I would call for a motion to go into executive session for the purposes of discussing the performance of a public official for, let's start out with 25 minutes. I think that would be a good amount of time.
No, I would make a motion that we convene in the executive session for the purpose to review the performance of the public employee. And we would end this session later than, well, we reconvene at, what is that? 3:55. PM.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed, any abstentions? Perfect, thank you. What's that? And Paul, if you wish, it's my understanding that you're welcome to sit in on this if you so wish. If you don't, that's up to you too as well. So outside of just board members and legal, taken. We are back in open session. And I would entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I would make a motion that the board affirm that the chief executive officer has met the expectations at the 6 months employment mark, and that the board is approving the contractual salary increase effective January 1, 2024.
I will second that motion.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Does everybody understand the motion? With that, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. I appreciate that. Nick, I'm going to carve out some time when it's convenient for you. You and I can sit down one-on-one and have a discussion, but congratulations. Thanks. All right, with that, it looks like we are going to move directly into closed session.
We can close the meeting first. We're gonna-
Okay,
Can I make
all
a
right.
quick suggestion?
Yes, sir.
We have great, a bunch of hors d'oeuvres out there. We could grab those and we could do the closed session. Longer in front of you.
Just make the closed session last longer.
Might soften the blow.
Oh, I see what's going on. So with that, do we have any further business? Then I will look for a motion to adjourn our regular. So moved.
Second.
Moving to second. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Does everybody want to grab something before we head into executive session? Or
How long is the closed section estimated to take?
Karen?
It really depends on you all. I would say probably 15 to 30 minutes.
There alcohol?
Yeah.
Why don't we break for 5 minutes? You can take a bio break and we'll come back at 4:15.
For 8. So we can have the breakout minutes after meeting, or I just take a couple.